It all kicked off with a garish yellow envelope, practically screaming for attention, duct taped to my solar inverter box like some kind of suburban ransom note. Not slipped into the mailbox, not pinned to the door duct taped, bold as brass, in the middle of the day. I peeled it off, the paper crinkling under my fingers, and there was the blood-red seal of the Pine VYEW Heights Homeowners Association, specifically the Aesthetic Unity Council. The name alone reeked of small-time dictatorship. Inside, the letter accused me of unauthorized solar installations that supposedly violate some obscure Rule Section 9, Clause 4.2, demanding prior approval for anything that might disrupt the neighborhood's soul serenity. My welcome to Pine VYEW Heights, 3 weeks after MOVYing in. I bought the house with the solar panels already installed, part of the deal, fully legal and permitted years ago. But Linda, the HOA's self-crowned queen, didn't care about facts. She cared about control. The very next morning, she showed up at my doorstep, clipboard in hand, her smile as sharp as a tax collector's pen. "Good morning," she chirped, her tone sugary enough to rot teeth. "Just following up on your noncompliance." Before I could get a word in, she was scribbling notes, probably timing how long it took me to open the door. I tried explaining the panels were grandfathered in, but she cut me off. "We'll need notarized proof," she snapped, as if I'd smuggled the panels in under cover of night. That evening, another envelope slid under my door, due Law 150 fine for failure to respond. It hadn't even been a full day. By the end of the week, Linda called a surprise compliance inspection. It was her, 2 mute board members, and a guy named Mitch with a measuring tape who only grunted dimensions. "Your panels are 3/8 of an inch past the approved roofline," Linda declared, channeling a courtroom drama queen. I asked to see the rule. She waved her clipboard vaguely, muttering about aesthetic clutter. This wasn't an HOA. It was Linda's personal fiefdom. I pointed out her own driveway had solar-powered garden lights. "Those were approved by the lighting committee," she hissed as Mitch rolled his eyes. Turns out Linda didn't just run the HOA, saw the HOA. Every subcommittee, every vote, every unanimous decision had her fingerprints. The online portal showed her name in every meeting's minutes, always with motion passed. I fired back with a formal letter citing state laws protecting solar rights. The next day, Linda emailed me a blurry PDF of a so-called Pine VYEW Solar Harmony Code, typed in Arial, and signed, undated, and looking like it was designed in a fever dream. My appeal was denied due to tone. Quoting laws was apparently too aggressive. Then things got wild. I caught a stranger on my roof, a drone photographer Linda hired to assess panel aesthetics. No notice, no permission. When I called the cops, she called it community oversight. Standing in my yard, sipping from a mug labeled HOA Empress, she smirked. "If you're innocent, why worry?" This wasn't about panels anymore. It was about power. And Linda had no clue who she was picking a fight with. See, I wasn't just some new guy in the suburbs. I worked from home, quietly drafting renewable energy policies for the state. Linda thought she'd cornered a pushover. Instead, she'd tangled with the head of clean energy compliance. Game on. I sent her a polite but lethal email packed with state solar access laws and 3 court precedents. She doubled down, calling an urgent HOA meeting to vote on my noncompliance. No agenda, just a grainy photo of my house with a red X scrawled over the roof. At the community clubhouse, Linda sat under a banner screaming, "Preserve Pine VYEU's charm," flanked by her loyal minions. Her 15-slide PowerPoint, titled Visual Decay, a Crisis, was pure theater. Slide 1. My house circled like a crime scene. Slide 2. A quote about one bad roof tanking property values. Slide 3. A fake graph claiming my panels had crushed neighborhood morale. The data? Unlabeled. Linda's presentation peaked with a VY Deo montage. Pristine homes set to soft piano, then a jarring cut to my panels with horror mo VY, EVY Allings. Most attendees looked baffled. One woman whispered, "I thought this was about potholes." Linda opened the floor, but her only supporters were two residents she'd pre-VY usly fined into silence, and a guy named Carl who admitted he was just there for the snacks. I stood up, calmly explaining that HOA rules couldn't trump state energy mandates. Linda snapped, "This isn't a courtroom." I smiled. "It might be soon." The room went dead quiet. Then I pulled out my phone. "Meet my colleague, Deputy Director Sanchez," I said, hitting speaker. Sanchez's voice was ice cold. "Linda, your VY OLADing California CI VY L code 714. Drop this by end of day, or expect a cease and desist and a lawsuit." Linda froze. Someone gasped. Someone clapped. She ended the meeting, claiming emotional exhaustion. As people left, a couple I didn't know handed me a plate of brownies. "She fined us for unapproved gravel," the wife whispered. "Take her down." That night, an anonymous envelope appeared in my mailbox. A blurry HOA ledger and a sticky note reading, "Follow the cash." It was a gold mine. The budget showed a line item for neighborhood surveillance upgrades, billed monthly at Dulon 927.50. Cross-referencing public records, I traced it to a fake LLC, Pine VYEW Watchshare VYCS, registered L. Thompson Linda Thompson. She was charging neighbors to spy on them, hiding it as safety enhancements. I compiled a PDF titled HOA Financial Misconduct Report and sent it to the State Housing Department, copying every resident. The backlash was instant. Neighbors raged. "She billed us for drones? She bragged about SA VYing money." Linda denied it all, claiming the funds were for holiday patrols and wildlife deterrence. Wildlife? Possibly squirrels, she said. No one bought it. At an emergency HOA meeting in the park, Linda stood behind a podium draped with a Transparency First banner, her voice shaky. She insisted all expenses were approved by a subcommittee. The crowd, retirees, parents, even old man Ralph, who only left his house for parade food. She fined me for my flagpole. Ralph yelled. A former treasurer revealed Linda had forced her out for questioning payments to Linda's own PO. Bucks. The room erupted. A state official stood up. "We're auditing the books tomorrow." Linda's jaw dropped. She tried to adjourn, but no one budged. A landscaper slipped me a flash drive with footage of Linda using HOA funds for a solo board appreciation brunch, toasting herself with champagne under a banner reading, "Linda saves Pine VYEW again." I posted it online with the caption, "Our dues at work." It went VY-RAL. 3 days later, another envelope was taped to my inverter, this time a cease and desist from the State Energy Compliance Office. It was fake, typed in Comic Sans, signed by Linda T. Thompson, Provisional Coordinator. The department didn't exist. I laughed so hard my neighbor checked on me. Linda's next letter demanded I disconnect my panels or face power termination, with instructions to cover sunlight-absorbing surfaces with a cloth. A cloth. I forwarded it to the real Department of Energy, who flagged her for impersonation. Instead of calling her out, I taped the actual Solar Rights Act to her door with a note. "Your fake letter misspelled statute. Careful, Linda." She emailed me from a shady account, threatening prosecution, spelled wrong. I replied with a screenshot of federal penalties for forging government documents. 5 years in prison. Dula, $250,000 fine. She went silent. Then residents caught her posting on a neighborhood app, claiming my panels could blind pilots. Someone replied, "We're nowhere near an airport." Another posted a photo of Linda on her roof with binoculars, captioned, "Pine VY EU's air traffic control." Memes exploded. Linda as Gandalf, shouting, "You shall not charge." The real twist came from a former co-worker, Emily, who sent me old letters showing Linda's history of faking violation notices at a zoning office. I sent the EVY Denke to the state auditor. Soon, a sheriff's deputy questioned Linda on her lawn as neighbors watched. "You're under investigation for impersonation and fraud," he said. "Get a lawyer, not a costume." A week later, the HOA voted her out, 39-2. The only holdouts were her cousin and a mysterious account that vanished. Linda didn't quit. She filed a small claims suit against me for emotional distress from my panel's glare, claiming it upset her cat, Mr. Whiskers. She showed up to court in a burgundy suit, lugging a binder labeled Sunlight Conspiracy. Her PowerPoint had sound effects. The judge, barely containing her laughter, asked if Linda was a lawyer. "I'm an expert in community compliance," she boasted. She rambled about photon disruption and her cat's depression. The judge stopped her. "Is there a vet statement?" Linda blinked. But I sense his feelings." The courtroom snorted. I presented my permits and the fake letters. The judge dismissed the case, warning Linda against homemade subpoenas. Outside, neighbors cheered. Linda tripped into a mulch pile, shrieking, "This isn't over." It was. Her check for my court costs bounced. I sent her an invoice on eco-friendly paper with a sun logo and the note, "A renewable lesson." Weeks later, the state filed charges, 3 felonies for forgery, impersonation, and embezzlement. Linda was arrested in her HOA Empress robe, her rose bush snagging her as she was cuffed. The neighborhood Facebook group lit up with a VY Deo captioned, "Linda's Curb Appeal Upgrade." Investigators found a stash of fake VY olation forms in her office, targeting anyone with a loud doorbell or 2 festive wreaths. She'd billed the HOA Dula $5,200 for consulting with her own fake company, Harmony Solutions, Inc. The trial was a circus. Linda, representing herself, called herself a beacon of order. Her fake letters were exposed. One had a Microsoft Word watermark. The jury convicted her in under 2 hours, 3 years probation, 300 hours of community service VYC, Dula $8,000 in restitution. Outside, she told a reporter, "I should have gone federal." It became a VY Rao remix. Grid Empress goes federal. Linda tried to come back, starting a Citizens for Pine VYEW Purity group. 3 people showed up to her library meeting, including her aunt and a guy expecting a book club. Her Facebook group had 4 members, all her. She mailed welcome kits with a rubber stamp and a guide banning reflective bird baths. Residents mocked them online. "My dog ate it." The HOA issued a sarcastic notice to recycle her conspiracy packets. Linda's rally for order in a vacant lot drew 5 VYUers on livestream. A kid on a bike yelled, "Give it up, Linda." The county slapped her with a restraining order, banning her from HOA active VY ties for 5 years. She appealed, claiming to be a light harmony coach. The judge shot it down. "This isn't Narnia." The final blow? Linda's community, SARE VYC, cleaning solar panels at state facilities. She scrubbed bird poop off the Verida VY she despised, muttering about photon tyranny. A VY RAL article showed her, defeated, staring at a solar array. Back in Pine VYEW, we threw a photon freedom fest with solar lanterns and a piñata shaped like a fake letter. Our HOA won a state award for energy innovation with a Dula $15,000 grant. I bought Linda's foreclosed house, turning her compliance office into a solar grant hub. The new sign read, "Powered by solar, approved by reason." Neighbors laughed till they cried. Linda was last seen selling light-deflecting umbrellas at a flea market, her bumper sticker proclaiming, "HOA free since 2025. Pine VYEW Heights was free, thrive VYing, and soaking up the sun." So what do you think? Was Linda a misunderstood crusader or a power-hungry tyrant? Should HOAs have any say over solar panels? Or is it government overreach? Drop your wildest HOA stories below. Did you ever face a Linda? Like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of neighborhood drama and justice.